if I die tomorrow. I hope you hear these words. I ain't here to flip no birds or sip no serve. Hope the future generations can get this urge. Stay woke, youngin', and avenge these nerds.
You asked and you got it.
You were busy.
Well, that one is courtesy of Jess. Thank you, Jess, again.
Thank you, Jess.
For an awesome new trailer.
There
we go.
Jess, all things are possible.
We just need to switch out that cut of doing the, we are here. Switch it out to something else and we'll be good to go.
We could do the what was it, 4th of July?
That's what I'm thinking, man. 4th of July. I don't understand.
Let's get it going.
I don't understand.
I'm here for the 4th of July.
What's up, everybody? It's Tuesday night. Is it?
Right.
It's Tuesday night. It's Nerds night.
It's Nerds night. It's get nerdy with it. Let's go. Some announcements because we have an
Dune
awesome
night.
guest.
It's Dune night.
Dune. Do the Dune. That should be a Mountain Dew thing. That I don't know. Mountain Dew missed out of that. Do the do. There we go. No. Okay, never mind.
Let's go.
Anyway,
move forward. Let's move forward with the announcements, sir.
Guys, subscribe to us, please.
I will say apparently that you and me had a memo where we were rocking the Thanos because Josh Brolin is in this movie.
Yes. So we got an awesome show. So first half, we're going to be talking to Rodney Fyke tonight about his new Kickstarter, Road Kill Rampage. You guys have seen Rodney on the show before. We've had an awesome time with Rodney. Rodney's an awesome individual who, again, has an awesome show that you guys can catch on every Thursday. The SmackDown, that's right. And we shared the link, so make sure you guys check it out. Make sure you guys follow us on Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, everywhere, please. And also, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, please. Every subscribe counts. Every subscribe is awesome. We love all you guys, all 240 of you who subscribe already. Thank you.
We're at 240. Yo, that seems like such a random, crazy number to me.
240. That's the time we used to get out of school back in the day. Next on the list is make sure you guys are tuning into the Medusa's Cascade podcast every Saturday. If you're into D&D and everything, Medusa's Cascade podcast is out every Saturday on Spotify or wherever you want to listen to the podcast.
50 launches this week, by the way.
50 episodes. Shit.
50 episodes of the first campaign. We have a couple episodes of Collateral Recap, which we're hoping to bring back. Alex, come back. We want you back, sir. And then we have the 2 campaigns run by Turt.
All the other campaigns.
The 2 campaigns run by Turt, I think, are going to start releasing within the next few months.
It's got a lot of content. Just go here. Just go here. Go here for all that content. That's right. There's more.
Is it sad that I hate the fact that we don't have Collateral anymore?
No, we have one more game. We have one more game on the 8th, he said, and then we don't have any.
Not Collateral. Sorry, not Collateral.
Chronicles.
Yeah. Chronicles, not Collateral. Collateral.
We'll have some one shots. We got some stuff we gotta do and take care of. But yeah, it's.
Listen, just go to Embeyond. Go to Embeyond.com. Check all the stuff out. Follow the D&D podcast. More content's coming on the way on the Embeyond website. Can't even say it. It's coming out there. So we got a lot of new crazy stuff that's going to be coming out, especially for the 2022 year. But without further ado, let's play this beautiful beam footage from our guest. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
You guys. Without further ado, the one, the only Rodney Fyke. Rodney,
welcome back.
What's happening, fellas? How we all doing?
We're good.
We're doing good. We're doing
Thanks
good,
for having me
man.
back, man. I love these guys. I love this show.
Of course.
Love having you. Oh man, you picked a good show to be on.
Yeah, man. We're talking some Dune, huh?
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk some Doom, but first let's talk about your Kickstarter because that music made it feel like a WWE entrance. You came down lane to SmackDown, just going out the beers and everything, and whap whap whap. So tell us, and everybody who wants to subscribe to, who wants to support the Kickstarter, the link is in the description. So make sure you subscribe. You basically give this man your money. Anyway,
Also, hi Relis. Sorry, completely didn't ignore that, but I did see it. Hello, how are you? We miss you.
What's
so.
up?
Rodney, tell us how the idea for Road Kill Rampage, which I want to add, by the way, the first issue has one of my favorite lines. And the squirrel never forgets. All he wanted was a potato chip, even if it was spicy. Please tell us how did Road Kill Rampage come to be?
Well, I have a job where I drive cars, and I was in traffic one time and stuck in construction traffic. And there was this baby raccoon, a dead baby raccoon laying on the side of the highway. And there wasn't any visible signs of outward trauma. It was just laying there, looked like it was sleeping. And its paw was kind of extended out. And it was a cute little paw. And the fur was just blowing in the wind. And I looked at him and I thought, where was he going? What was he up to? And who's waiting on him? And who's going to miss him? And as I thought that, and I see a lot of roadkill. I drive 5 surrounding states in Ohio, and it just got my mind just spinning out of control. So I grabbed my phone real quick and I started vomiting out the ideas that came into my head about all the roadkill and people adding to that body count, if you will. And it started off as a one shot, and that was what the intention was, to write a story, do it, move on to something else. But as we got into it, it just kept talking to me. And I mean, you guys, when something talks to you, you have to listen to it and you have to keep feeding it or allow it to keep feeding you. And in this case, it's fed into a 4-issue miniseries. And that's where it came from. Just seeing that little baby raccoon on the side of the road. I mean, I see dead deer and raccoons and possums and stuff all the time, but they're all mangled up or whatever. But this thing looked like, it was just laying there sleeping. And, baby raccoons are adorable. And the poor little guy was just laying there, and it just tugged at my heartstrings. And it all of a sudden this story started coming to me. So I had to get it down, and that's where it comes from.
Oh man, I always struggle with when you see them crossing and stuff, and you're just because especially when you're on the highway, you can't stop everybody, hey, there's wildlife, slow down.
Yeah, we last week we were coming back from Columbus, and this bird took a shot, man, and he came up snake eyes, man. He he didn't make it.
No.
He didn't make it. He got the. But let's take a look here at some of this artwork, though. What people can expect when they're definitely getting the roadkill over here, Rampage roadkill, and again, reading that first issue, I'm excited to get with the Kickstarter and everything. But let's check this out right here. This is one of the pages right here, and that artwork is beautiful. And again, you're in this as the writer. How did it feel to see your work being transitioned from the pages by other artists, just right here, just making it to the pages and everything, creating the images?
It's pretty rewarding. It's hard to describe because it's, I don't have any children, so it's pretty ballsy comparison, but these stories are my children. And the image, especially this particular story, it's so vivid in my head. And a lot of people say that they feel like they've watched a movie after they've read the first issue. And that makes me feel great because I wrote it very much like a movie. It's very Grindhouse inspired.
Oh my God, I was just thinking Grindhouse, Robert Rodriguez, and oh man.
But yeah, when especially that the first page of issue 1 where you see the literal bird's eye view of the crows over the pickup truck, that shot is dead on from my head So when I got that first page, I was just like, hell yeah. Can't wait to get more. And yeah, it's really rewarding, especially when they nail it, because and there are some areas where it's not exactly what I envisioned, or they give me their take on it, and that's fine. But when they really nail something that's like a picture in your head, and you see it in a tangible form, it's pretty awe-inspiring. I mean, it's there's no better feeling, for me.
Do you remember Creep Show and Tales from the Crypt, the movies and all that, when they used to tell the different tales and stuff happening? That's literally the vibe, like how you pointed out, what Law just pointed out with the grindhouse effect and everything. But like it literally felt like that too, reading that just that first book, when you again with everything that went down in that book. It was just, and I love the covers too.
Covers super dope.
Yeah,
super dope.
Yeah, all that. I'm very heavily influenced by the Creep Show and all the old EC comic books and stuff that Bernie writes in, and Jack Davis, and all that artwork, that really beautiful brushwork and contrasting blacks and whites, and just that dirty country road feel, grindhouse.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I wanted. I wanted it to feel like a movie that was shot in film in the 70s. Ooh. Instead of something that looks like it was shot digitally, or it was shot with video in the 80s. Because I don't know, I'm just a big fan of film, that grainy look. And that's kind of what we were going for, and I think we got it.
Yeah,
no, you guys,
I love that.
It does feel that way. Also, I got to say, I really, when we have all of our creators on, I just love when we hear about the spur of inspiration, to create something. I always find it fascinating. It always comes in different ebbs and flows from everybody, and you're just talking like you're just going about your your day job, and just kind of seeing as what one person would just kind of drive past and be like, oh, that sucks, there's a deer in the road. You're like, wait a minute, I got a story. What's going on here? Let me put it together. I'm going to start writing down all these. Let me just pull over, put my hazards on, just get all these notes in before I continue on my day.
You're not gonna William Shatner it? We have technology.
So I always find that fascinating. Just to see where when that all comes in.
Yeah, I mean, I can get an eye if I'm listening to if I hear a line. Now, this was back in the 90s when I was doing the Superior 7, but I heard a line from a song. It was a Blink 182 song, and it sparked a whole line of history for one of my main characters, and it mushroomed out into his origin, and it gave me his brother and his wife, and it just mushroom clouded it into this whole backstory of this character. And I'm like, holy shit, from one line, from one song. But that's how my mind works, because you're kind of listening to it subconsciously, because your mind wanders. And me being a writer and an artist, it's constantly looking, it's got its feelers out. And it, sometimes it hooks onto something, and other times it doesn't, but it definitely hooked. And that happens to me all the time. So the voice recorder on the phone is one of my very most used tools.
Listen, that's literally one of the tips that a lot of people say, use the tools that you have with you, especially it's like, if you're driving, you're not going to be able to stop the car, and pretty much so it's like, you got the whole thing where you're just saying, like, you could use the voice memo and just talk it in and then transcribe it later. But it's just funny. I mean, we've had you on the show before it was Pitter Patter, and you had this great cartoonist style, this great cartoonist world, and then to go into this, I mean, how do you flip that script, bro? It's like you really flip it, man, and it is just fantastic.
It's all there. It's literally a matter of flipping switches, because we did all we did Peanut Pudding and Jelly. We did 7 issues. 6 of them actually saw print. And then I did now 2 issues of Pitter Patter. And that was kind of getting pigeonholed into, he's the kid friendly comic guy. He writes all this safe stuff, and I'm like, no, I do, but I've got more to offer than that. I can do more than that. So I was really itching to do some adult themed stuff. And I think that helped spark this because my mind was already chewing on it. And actually, I wrote it and it sat on a shelf for about a year and a half.
Oh.
And I had a guy that we picked out that was going to do the art for it. And he wasn't the right artist. His stuff was too cartoony. Which I love, but it wasn't right for the story. So when we came across Eamon, it was just kind of a kismet moment. But yeah, it's flipping that switch for me is I've been doing it for so long. And I told somebody the other night on a podcast, it's just like walking from one bedroom to another. Because I have this area for Pitter Patter. I have this area for Road Kill Rampage. I have this area for upcoming projects, and it's just, I don't know. I'm goofy that way.
I am the same way, so I 100% get it. I 100% get it. You're always focused on like everything at once, and you're like, all right, I need to turn this light off so I could really focus on this one.
Yeah, and the rewarding thing for me is to get people to say, dude, who knew? We knew you for all this stuff.
Yeah.
Who knew you had this in you? And that makes me feel great because, yes, it's not just my wife and my friends telling me, oh, it's cool. It's, strangers from all over the world going, damn, dude, this was good.
And by the way, big shout out for Tina because Tina is your OG marketing manager right there. Again, always awesome.
Master.
But let's take a look at this. Congratulations, because you guys did hit your goal and you're still going.
We funded it in 24 hours.
Awesome.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you. It was really cool. Now we're working on all the stretch goals and all that fun stuff.
And
that's awesome.
We got all kind of goodies out there.
Tell us about some of the stretch goals, the variant covers, because there's a lot of cool stuff that, again, guys, if you're after the show, go to the description, hit the Kickstarter link, because again, Rodney's going to tell you what you actually get when you support the Kickstarter, because it's still going. You got 16 days left. But yeah, tell us what you get with some of the stretch goals and everything and some of the variant covers.
We have the variant covers. We have Sean Forney. He's coming back to do a cover for us. He did a cover for first issue. We have Andre Alsh, who is an artist from Toronto, Canada, who was really big in the Marvel trading cards game. And this is actually his first variant cover. So we offered him that, and he did a knockout job. And we got actually Eamon did a cover for us. That was the 48-hour special that we had, and it's awesome. And Sean Langley's obviously doing the alpha cover for it, and Steph Wilson. We had Steph do a naughty version and a nice version.
Christmas is coming up. Naughty or nice?
Yes, exactly. So we've got holofoil stickers. We've got we've got a really cool enamel pen. That's kind of a smiley face in a blood. There's like a blood moon, and then there's a gray moon. There's two different versions of it, but it's the bats.
I was like, that's really dope.
Forming a smiley.
It looks really creepy.
Yeah, it plays into issue 2. There's Amon's cover B. And Sean Langley does the cover A there. I call it cover Alpha.
Code name Alpha. There we go.
Exactly. There's Sean's cover C, Sean Forney's cover C, and then Andre Alsh does the cover D for us. And that is a painted cover. That's a really nice cover. Let's see what else. And then we have the Steph Wilson.
There we
go. He's really big in the variant cover game. So we decided to enlist his aid in this, and people have responded. So we're very happy about that. There's a virgin cover, the virgin versions. There's the holofoils and all that stuff. And then we've got a sketch cover. You can just get a blank and have.
Oh wow!
I can draw you the characters, or you can get Sean or whoever you want to draw characters from the book, and then Sean Langley and I both offer commissions. We have those there for you, and that's a really good price.
Mm-hmm.
No, that is a really good price for a commission,
Yeah.
because usually they go for more, and that's a really good price for a commission.
Absolutely.
And then this type, and then the because I've seen you draw in person last time when it was at Rhode Island Comic Con, and you just kill it with again the pencil, the coloring, and everything. You deliver commission. So anybody who's watching this, 75 for commission. You definitely want to subscribe to that if you're looking for an original piece done by Rodney or Sean, because this is something you want.
Yeah.
And then we have the mini print set, or that's the complete package set where you can get everything for $175,
which is not bad at all.
Yeah, that's a pretty good price. I mean, you get all the stickers, the trading cards, everything, all the mini prints, all the covers. That's a pretty good price.
No, this is really good, and then this is really dope, bro. I mean, you guys got, and I did. This is what you were saying right here with the blood moon, the enamel pins.
Yeah, those are bats' wings, and they actually form the eyes and the fangs and stuff. So that is pin was designed by Jay Fife, Fife. Go to Facebook and find him. He's a phenomenal artist. Lives just outside of Pittsburgh. Crazy talented guy.
Dope.
So there's the metal card set. Those are all the bad guys from the second issue. Ace. Yeah, Ace is there too.
I wanted to ask, I feel like we have the Grindhouse vibes. We have like the Tales from the Crypt, Tales from the Hood like vibes. Who is the voice of the narrator for you for all this? Like, who would you want ideally? It could be past, it could be alive or dead.
Oh man, that's a good question. Gary Oldman.
Ooh.
Yeah.
American voice or a British voice?
British. American, probably little country twang with a Bayou twist.
Ooh, I like it. I like it.
He will pull it off.
If you notice in the first, you guys haven't seen issue 2 yet, but I don't reference a time period. But there are no cell phones, there are no electronic devices, so it's implied without stating that it's kind of the 70s. She can't find her way home by pulling up GPS.
Right.
So it's, she's faced with those 70s obstacles. She can't just make a phone call and
That's the vibe I got from it. It was like, it felt like a late 70s, early 80s vibe, because you didn't have that. You didn't have technology like that back then to figure out where you were at. But
and me,
I'm loving this cover right here.
I don't know if you guys know who Russell Allen is, but he's like a super fan, and he promotes the hell out of everybody's stuff. And he's just a goofball, and there's this little group of people that watch him and stuff, and it's kind of like this inner circle of his fans, and he's just a goofball. He did that of his own volition and sent it to us, and we were like, "Can we use this?" He's like, "No, dude, that's why I did it." So it's something stupid, but it's funny. And it's just something different to offer everybody. Just shows them our sense of humor, on that side of things. It's not all horror,
Right.
The silly side has them.
But it showcases who you are. And again, Rodney, I mean, again, meeting you and everything, and then building a relationship with you and Tina, it just showcased again that you're an awesome individual. I congratulate you guys and his on the Kickstarter, and you and the whole team, because again, this is a phenomenal book. Everybody again who's listening, who's watching, please hit the link, subscribe. Sorry, I keep saying subscribe because I'm in that mode. Support the Kickstarter. Get your hands, because this is, if you love the old school grindhouse, if you love horror, and you just want a really great independent story that's there, you definitely want to support this Kickstarter and add it to your collection. Which I have my, here we go. Shut up, take my money. But now we are on that portion of the show again, guys. The Kickstarter will be up there. Rodney will join the plug and plug again one more time after the show. But now we are on this. You ready?
Oh man! Finally! All right, we are here to talk about the best first half of a movie I've ever seen. We are talking Dune Part 1. 2021 version, pushed to 2021 because of 2020. We will talk everything that we saw in the movie. That's pretty much fair game. Everything in the movie. The fact that Dr. Yue was a traitor, and that Oscar Isaacs dies,
right,
and that Zendaya is not in this movie as much as she as marketed to be in. You know, I don't. You know, I don't really care, but apparently people did care. I could care less. So let's talk Dune Part 1. What did you guys like? What did you love? Will it entice you to read the book? Anybody aside from Seabass, since I know Seabass doesn't read.
Damn.
Bird. That's it. It's done.
He's coming over right now.
Savage Toad.
Yo, Toad is coming in hot.
These are those moments. Rodney, you were tacked in. How we gave you the homework. We were like, watch it, Rodney. How did you feel about this movie? How did you and Tina enjoy it? Or, give us your thoughts.
I liked it. I mean, all I heard from everybody was they didn't like it. The feedback wasn't very good. It was slow. It was boring, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, whatever. and I watched it and I was completely enthralled. I loved it. And I'm going to go back and watch it again just because I'm sure there's plenty of things I'll pick up on the second time around. But, we were talking backstage before. The costume design was just spot on. I mean, I was really impressed with the costume designing. The set designs were awesome. The cinematography, we talked about that. It was just really just eye-popping. And just overall, the total package was just great. Very cerebral, we talked about that earlier. Yeah. It's a cerebral movie, which is fine. I like cerebral stuff, but you got to pay attention. You got to be able to make the parallel connections with mythology, and stuff like that. And I think that's why it appealed to me so much, is because I love mythology and I love, the Force type stuff like that. And it was great. The acting was great. The lighting, everything. I really, really enjoyed it. The bad guy, can't think of his name, the big fat guy.
The Duke.
I got you. It was Baron Vladimir Harkonnen.
Reminded me of old fat Marlon Brando.
Yes.
Which is a compliment because
I see that.
Yeah, very disturbing, gluttonous, persona. And that's kind of what it reminded me of. And I was like, oh man, this is freaky in a good way. I like it. And then the things on his spine just intrigued me even more. What's up with dude's back?
The whole bath, when he just gets out the bath and then he goes back again.
All of it is so disturbing.
Well, you tagged in though.
Yeah, to Rodney's point, like all of it hit a lot of really great notes. I think it's the kind of movie that really took the time to set up world building. Like it's not going to give you a lot of that blockbuster feel, I guess. It's
there's not a lot of car chases in it.
Right. There's not a lot of building. Like it's a lot of establishment of world, because if you go in blind like I did, like I've never read the book, I never watched the old movie, you're fully engrossed in this story and in this like mythology for the first time. So they're literally trying to give you as much information, and it's a lot. It's dense. It's a lot of information, but they did it in such a way that it didn't feel overwhelming, because a lot of times you get info dumped and you're just like, I don't know what to do with this. Is this relevant? Whatever the case is, they gave you a lot, enough to understand what's going on.
They did. I didn't feel like I was force fed a ton of information.
Right.
It revealed very organically and very slowly, so I could digest it all at a good pace.
Exactly. I think because of that, like if you go in with that mindset of like, oh, they're going to establish like this, the book itself. Tone, hold up the book real quick. The book itself is dense.
It's a dense boy.
dense. You know what I mean? So like if you just go
into it's good dense, but it's dense.
Right. But if you go into it and try to like if you try to just go into it blind and just try to do all the cliff notes and all the fun stuff to like try to pull people in, I think it's going to be a disservice. I have never even read the book, but I know with the world building that like they're doing, that I'm sure it would be a disservice to just take the fun bits, throw them in there, just so people can like stick around and stick with it. Yeah.
Tony, I know you've been waiting to talk about this movie. Come on, give it.
Oh man, so I have been waiting for this shit to come out for like a year and change. When I first saw the first trailer, I was all in. I've got to say that we got a very good science fiction movie with a solid story that wasn't all flashy and blowing shit up, and like there was like a really solid story. And I was in from the minute this movie started. Like I was in watching like the first scene when Zendaya's kind of doing the overture and talking about Dune, to when they go to Caladan and you're seeing like all the stuff with Paul, and you're seeing all the Atreides men, you're seeing the change of arms, like the whole set design. I'm watching, I'm just like, yes, just give me all of this. I want it all.
Does it feel like, even though it's sci-fi and it feels like it takes place so far in the future, because it does, it feels really grounded? No,
it feels really grounded because there's no AI.
Yeah.
And that's purposely done through the backstory because of how Herbert built his world. There was AI, there was a rebellion, and now they have no AI, which is why they need the spice and they need all this other stuff to kind of do the whole space travel bit of it. So it's very grounded, and they kind of keep it to that. They keep it to that very imperialistic sort of thing with the emperor and the houses and all of that stuff. So yeah, that's why it's just really a grounded story set in the far, far, far future. But there are bits and pieces of things you would expect in the far future that aren't there, and there are lore reasons as to why. But I was all in. All the really great scenes, all the things we're really looking forward to. As Law and Rodney were mentioning about not having an info dump, that would do a disservice, because this type of lore, you don't want to be force fed all of this information at once, especially if it's not going to do anything for you. Like there's no need to force feed info if it's not going to help, right? So. Nice. The book, you get inner monologue, you get different perspectives and stuff. But what the movie really does is that it just really focuses on Paul's journey, because Paul's the antagonist. Paul is the Messiah character of this book, and instead of kind of jumping around and doing all of the other bits that someone who's read the book may have wanted, or other pieces of dialogue you may have not gotten, we focus on Paul because we, the viewer, are watching Paul and we're going through his journey. So, and that's what you got to do for a 2.5 hour movie to make it stick and make it relevant and to make it work. That was the way to go. I missed certain things that I wish appeared, but I got why we only got a few jumps. And the jumps we did get that were outside of Paul were for purpose. Like when they go to Gita Prime and you see the Harkins planning and plotting, it made sense. When you see when Piter goes to the planet where all the Sardaukar are, and like you get where he's getting all these troops from. But like they really keep it grounded, the fact that you're with Paul most of the time in this movie because it's his story. And I think that was the way to go about it. And I'm sure when we get part 2, it's just going to be his journey to transform himself into that Messiah character. I was here for it. I loved it.
I really like that in this movie, though, again, just to touch up on, and I was reading an article about it, is that it did something right where we have a lot of action movies and movies that come out where it's very flashy. It's not really this movie was story driven and you still had action in it. And it was very story driven. It didn't rely on comedy. It relied on world building, relationship building with the characters. And it's like you thought that you really got the sense that these people knew each other forever. And it didn't, like, even though there was star power, it didn't rely on the star power, and no one took away from other actors in the movie. Rodney, I want to ask you to lead off with this one is, what were some of the elements that you love that stuck out to you in terms of this world that was built? What were some of the things that just caught your eye and just like, yo, this was phenomenal? This was really, what was something that stuck out to you in there?
The one thing that I noticed was that really I kind of sat up and like, oh shit, that the tube, where they jump.
Yeah.
They showed a perspective shot of it so you could see inside of it. And in the back of it was the other planet. So you got that. They made you feel that they were jumping through space. And I thought that was particularly brilliant because if you read all of the UFO sightings and stuff about the cigar-shaped thing that people have seen through centuries, that's what that was. You know, and I'm like, oh shit. They've connected the lore of the UFO sightings from centuries back to the cigar-shaped thing, and that cigar-shaped thing is a time jumper. Brilliant. I thought that was genius. Yeah, but that's the biggest thing that really stuck out to me because I noticed it right as it was going off the screen, and I'm like, oh man. And then my mind just started going, how cool is that? How cool? Why is that so cool? It's just started going on and on and on and on. But yeah, I love the houses, you know, very Game of Thrones, and you know, the fact that nobody outshined anybody else. Everything was very even keeled as far as performances go. Everybody was spot on. And I said it earlier, but I feel like I got to say it again, is the lighting.
Yeah,
I found the lighting very striking. It was very well utilized, in my opinion. Yeah, and just I don't know. I can't say enough good about it.
Oh, yeah. No, I agree with you with the line because when you were on the House Atreides planet, home planet, you had this lighting that really showcased the lush greens of the planet. Yeah. When you were on the main planet with Spice and all that, where the story was taking place, the desert planet, it's like you had this light that was there, and it really showcased the brightness and everything. That you're on a real desert planet right now. It's really, and he kind of felt the dryness too through there. And so that the lighting, that's something I didn't really think about too, is how it really helped with driving the scenery there. Tone, you're next.
So for me, what was the question? Like what really got us? Sorry.
That what really like stuck out to you with this movie of how they built this world and everything.
So what I really loved was how they portrayed the voice. Like what the Bene Gesserit women can use their part of their power, right? And so seeing how how it happened to Paul when he's still on Caladan and he goes into the corridor with the Mother Superior, and he does the jump jobber test, and she gives him the command to kneel in front of him, and it's kind of like he just moves and sits in front of her. Villanueva, the director, he did a piece talking about that scene and how he was going to portray it, and the fact that he was like, well, how are we going to do this? Because essentially what happens is that you lose all control of your body and you don't remember doing it. You kind of it's like you go into like a unconsciousness and you wake up and you're like you did the command. So he did it where we're going to do like a cutaway shot and kind of do like a slow-mo. And I was like, man, that was really dope way to showcase how this power works, because they're unable to control. Also how they use the audio and like their pitch, and their whole thing just kind of changes when they command. And it just reminded me to the voices, like, when your mom or whatever matriarch in your family gives you that voice of like, gives you that command to do something, like, I'm not going to fuck around. I'm going to do what I got to do.
But they use your middle name.
You can fuck around and find out.
When they say, when she says Rodney Dean, you pay attention.
Yeah. But
that was it for me.
Law, what really? Come on,
one of the biggest things was how distinct each set of people are. So like everyone's distinct in either fighting styles, like how they adapt to their environment. There was a point where I think it was Duncan, or someone asked Duncan, Jason Momoa's character, like, how did you know you fought a Sakaar or something like that? And he was like, once you fight one, like there's no way you don't know, kind of thing, because they're so distinct. They're such a fighting force. Even when they were getting recruited, they said something like, our forces equal 10,000 of theirs, or some crazy like that. And I was just like, wow, like they really established like where everyone views themselves, and are viewed by the other parts of this world, of this galaxy, of this universe that they built.
Yeah,
so
they established
feels very like everything feels very, very deliberate, and like they pay attention to those details. Even when Stilgar, Javier Bardem's character came in, and then he like just spit like that, threw everyone off, and you see like Gurney, Josh Brolin's character, just go Josh Brolin, big ups to this dude, because he played his part perfectly. I think he was the perfect like, yo, what are you doing? Like, I'm the guy. You have to get through me to do anything. And he played that to the letter. But then you have Jason Momoa, who was like, I've been with them this entire time. So like, that's a custom. Thank you for giving me that. And then he's like, huh? And like, I appreciated that so much. I even appreciated Oscar Isaac's character for like going in there, like, you know, people are like, you know, you came here and there were many men before you who had good intentions or whatever the case is. But you really get that sense like he wanted it. Like he knew and understood what those people were and like what they can possess and like what they eventually call like desert power, essentially. And they established that early on that like he's like, I'm, you know, we're you know, our House Atreides and all this other stuff, but like they're a force to be reckoned with. Yeah. Like if we can work with them as opposed to try to like, you know, undermine them or try to oppress them, we can like be a force to be reckoned with together, you know? So I love that.
Yeah. And can we give a shout out that Jason Momoa's character was named Duncan Idaho?
Dude, I love that name. I love that name. Because let's also like not the combat scenes, like the fight choreography, chef's kiss. But particularly like Jason Momoa and Josh Brolin scenes were off the fucking hook. Because like you knew, because even when they were talking about on Sakara, whatever the other thing was, they were like, well, they have Duncan Idaho and they have Gurney Halleck, and those are names like to be reckoned with. Like those are the names you're just like, oh shit. Well, it's basically saying like they have a Jaime Lannister.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like
their names are legend. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I love that.
You know, another thing too that I wanted to touch on real quick before we switch to something else is the planet, the desert planet. Mm-hmm. It was interesting to me how they shot that, how they lit that. It's basically Tatooine, but Tatooine is bright and sunny and yellow, and this was a desert too, but it felt more muted. Yeah, I don't know if it was because of the spice in the sand or what, but even the sky, it just felt like there was kind of a filter on the lens where the desert just felt muted. If you think about it, in Star Wars, the desert's very bright, and when it switches, you kind of like go, you know, where's my sunglasses? Right. But on this, you never got that with the desert. It was always muted. I thought that was interesting.
Do they ever show you like the moons or like the sky at all? Like
they see the moons once. You see the moons
one scene. Yeah,
but like that, when they say like the scene, the people call that the hand of God.
Right. You but we don't get it like a sense of like, all right, so like on Earth we would see like a blue sky and clouds. Like we don't get that. We really get like white surrounding sky that's like you just know it's hot and oppressive, like kind of heat, and then just night. Like I feel like those are like the two moods of like or settings.
Yeah. So I want to ask about two characters because, like I said, Duncan Idaho is awesome. We'll touch up on him a little bit later, but I definitely want to touch up on Josh Brolin's character, Gurney Halleck, and Dave Bautista's character, who I feel like this was the most imposing and threatening that Dave Bautista looked, and it was just, again, not much screen time, but he still delivered that he was an imposing and dangerous character. Rodney, I want to lead in with you with this one about Dave and Josh's characters. And is Josh's character still alive? Because we didn't see him die on screen.
I was going to say, I don't remember where he was killed. So that was a question. But we didn't.
Nobody, you know.
David Bautista, very little screen time, but memorable. You when he yells uncle, when he's yelling and he's like, and his neck is all veined out and shit. I was just like, I got like chills. I mean, I got all tensed up. I wanted to hop in the ring and kick somebody's ass. I'm like, man, I can feel his rage. And just that's what you want from him. You know, the big muscular guy, and, you know, it's Drax. And you want, you know, show me some Drax. And boy, he said Drax times 10. He really made you feel it. So I wanted to see more of him. And Josh Brolin, I mean, Jesus, it's just, you know, to think 20 years ago, he had no career, you know, and now he's just like an A-lister, and whatever he does, he just knocks it out of the park. And I thought he was just as awesome as Dave was and Jason was. Mm-hmm. Just looking at him, my mind was grizzled vet. You know, he's been through hell 1,000 times, and he's going to take you through hell and carry you on his back if he has to, but you're going to get through it with him by your side. That's how he made me feel. And it was amazing.
Yeah, and I like that he played the part of the grizzled vet, but he didn't feel like your stereotypical grizzled vet that you're used to seeing on screen.
Right. He was positive. He was upbeat. He had the can-do attitude, and I liked that.
Also, to your point too, Rodney, like a lot of the people that we saw that didn't have a lot of screen time still had a lot of presence, which like you said, they gave you the sense that you wanted more, and like that speaks a lot to, you know, the filmmaking process of this movie, where like they paid attention to make sure that when those notes hit, they hit.
Yeah, memorable. Yeah.
Well, you're tagged in since there we go.
One of these days, you're gonna get it right on the first time.
I don't know. It's all messed up. I think you're right here, but I'm like, you know.
Yeah, like I loved Dave Bautista's character. I wanted more. I feel like there's more to him than what we got. So I'm interested to see like any backstory or any more on him. Because I'm definitely looking forward to more of his character. But Josh Brolin, on the other hand, was not so much that it was unexpected, but you kind of forget how good of an actor he is. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like you go, yeah, he's great. A lot of people will, he's been Thanos for the last however many years. But no, he's like really good. Like he does a really like good job of nailing that mentor / right hand kind of figure. I don't know like what his position is, like head of security, like kind of, you know, head of the guard kind of thing, but like he holds that position really, really well, and he has like the authority for it, but he also has the like, you can tell he has the knowledge for it. Like he comes with like a sense of like a well decorated resume, so you can like already get that impression from him. So I was 100% here for that performance. I didn't know how much I needed that performance until I got that performance.
Yeah.
Tony, you're tagged in, and I'll let you lead in with the next question too.
What's the next question?
I don't know. You're gonna make it up as we go because this movie was just awesome.
Jesus Christ, man! All right, well, whatever.
You read the book, so
I read half of the book, and I'm reading it again now. Anyway, jeez. All right, so what I thought about Dave Bautista. So Beast Rabin. So just fun fact, he is Vladimir Harkonnen's nephew. One of two nephews. So we'll see how we'll potentially see his other nephew and how he'll play into in the next movie. And if I recall correctly, Beast and Gurney have a history. I believe he got a scar from him when they fought, which is why Gurney has a deep hate for the Harkonnens. And something that's not in the book, but there is a little slight nod to it in the movie, is that in the book, Harney has a bassist or a bassist or whatever. He plays a guitar sort of type of instrument. So when they're in the training room, when we first see him and Paul kind of talk, and Paul mentions something about like playing a tune of music, and he kind of takes it as sarcasm. He plays a song, like that's in the book. He does. Okay. But I thought, you know, he probably took it out of the movie just because he didn't feel like it would fit. It would fit right in the tone that he was trying to go across, not for like the comedy aspect, but for what he was really trying to portray, because it may just not come up organically, so he just left it out, which I think made sense. But yeah, no, I enjoyed what Josh Brolin did with the character. I keep forgetting Josh Brolin isn't Thanos, right? Like, because I've watched him as Thanos for so long, because I would just watch Infinity War and Endgame just to watch it, and like Thanos is ginormous and jacked, and then you see Josh Brolin, and like I keep forgetting that's fucking Thanos, man. Like, because Josh Brolin isn't like Jason Momoa Jack. He's just like a regular ass dude who's just a really good actor.
When we saw him as what's his name, Cable, he was fucking jacked.
Yeah. So he fit the role really well, and you got that mentor, and you got that second in command, and really going out there getting all the men, all of that. So I don't know if he's alive. I haven't gotten to that part yet, so don't know if he's alive or dead. Whatever, we'll see what happens. And with Beast Rabin, to everyone's point, he's not on screen that long, but like you get his intensity. And part of what Dave Bautista and Skarsgård did with their characters was that they really wanted to show the scariness and intensity of these characters in the bit of screen time that we got to see them in. So I think they hit the mark, and I'm hoping we get a little bit more of it when we get the movie in 2 years. So I guess I got to feed a question, or unless Seabass, you want to give your thoughts on these two characters.
No, I mean, you guys hit the point. I mean, you hit everything I was going to say.
All right. Fine. All right. So my question to you is, how did you feel about the betrayal of Duke Leto?
Oh, Seabass tagging you in. See?
Like in betrayal, like him being betrayed, or betrayal of Oscar Isaac's playing the character.
No, not his portrayal. The betrayal.
The betrayal.
Oh man, that hit hard. It was like, he was this guy that you really were pulling for, and it's like, yeah, you can't be too attached to this character. I'm sorry, Game of Thrones rules. Character that you like, they're always the ones that's gonna get it, and it just. You want to know what it was? He cared about his people. He cared about everybody. And then it was the fact that he knew that this was a political move and he was preparing for it. But the betrayal was what hit hard. And he was like, fuck, I got fucked. And that was it. It's like, it really did. And I mean, he tried to go out as a G with the whole thing when the doctor gave him the tooth. But it didn't complete the work. It was like, damn, I really wish he had gotten it. It's like that moment. It's like, I really wish he had gotten everybody in that fucking room, but he didn't. And it was like, it's probably one of the most saddest betrayal scenes and arcs that I've ever seen. And I would even say it because like you had the Red Wedding, which was very gory. It didn't have to be gory. It was sad. It was like this guy who you really wanted to be the guy to really connect with the people and everything. And it was like, nope. We're going to kill him. Rodney, I'll tag you in next.
I thought it was very, when I drew parallels to the JFK assassination. He was, the young Prince of Camelot, and he was the future of the country, and the old war horses from the generation prior didn't like him because he threatened the war machine, and so they had to get rid of him.
Yeah,
that was the parallels that I drew with Oscar Isaac's character and the doctor. I can't remember his name.
Dr. Wellington Ewing.
Yeah, the betrayal was he was used. He was manipulated like all the great villains, all the Nazi regime or North Korea. They use people, they use what they care about the most as a tool to use them for betrayal. And when he said his wife was gonna, was I knew exactly what was gonna happen.
I was just gonna ask if everyone had that same feeling of like,
yeah. And I felt for him too, because he was a pawn.
Yeah.
And he probably knew it too, which is why he had the tooth ready.
Mm.
But he rolled them dice too and came up snake eyes. He's like, well,
yeah.
Hopefully they stick to their word and I get my wife back. But villains are villains, man. And it was just, it was a Greek tragedy wrapped around a Greek tragedy.
No, for real, yeah.
It made it great.
It was really so. I don't know if I immediately got the impression that like we knew Oscar Isaac was gonna die, but I had a feeling, based on like what they were hinting at with Paul, like they were trying to hype him up so much, and it was sad because like I think I don't know if it was a trailer or it was like someone like took a clip from it, but it was describing that part, or like one of the very early scenes where Paul was talking to I can't think of his name. To Duke about like, I don't know if I want to do this. I don't know, what if I don't, what if I get the call and my answer is no? He goes, then you'll still be everything I need you to be, my son. I was like, this guy, this is like, what a dad. Like, you don't really get that with a lot of like, so that it shows the character of that person. You know what I mean? Like that we don't get in a lot of these stories where like, he's like, listen, maybe you will, maybe you don't, but like it's not my choice to like impart that on you. I can only just kind of guide you and help you out, but at the end of the day, you're still my son. So like getting the betrayal later, especially from Dr. Yue, who you thought was like your boy, because he was like in there just like, yeah, your mom sent me down here to come check on you and blah blah, for him to be the guy. But then you understand because of the circumstances, you feel bad, like, because he did exactly what he had to do because of the circumstances. It further proves how bad the Emperor is, how bad the what's this guy's name, the Baron is. It like further emanates how much they feared House Atreides. Like they were willing to go this far to not only like put them in an almost like unwinnable situation with the changes of like them as like the new house of that planet and whatever the case is, but they gave them such the short end of the stick to then like already have one hand tied behind your back and then get him like while he's down. You know what I mean? So like there wasn't really a chance for him, no matter how much they were prepped or they were doing their best. So it hurt more when you saw it, because like you just kind of saw, if you paid attention, like they were leading this man for a setup. They were leading him for failure.
And the other thing too that I found interesting about that was it forced me to ask myself, would I have done the same thing, knowing what was coming anyway? What choice would I have made? Because if it's an all-out galactic war, and this impending doom, what choice? And this, you're being manipulated. What choice would you make? For me, I'm writing my wife and my kid. They're gone. So I'm going to do as much as I can to stop these assholes.
Right. But did he? So with the limited decisions that he could make, do you feel like he had enough things as far as options to even make some a better, or like a more well-informed decision?
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Did he have that?
He was
Yue or Leto.
Leto.
No,
I don't know. Like I feel like Yue had both his hands tied, but like there was no way he could have made a different decision. Like in all circumstances, like they really put his back to the wall.
So,
with Leto, I feel like no matter how you slice it, you can maybe give him another option. Like there's door number 3, but there's not much behind there because you've left them with so little of options.
No. So the way they do it, right, is that they're going to Arrakis, right?
Mm-hmm.
They know there's some bullshit is going to happen.
Yeah.
There's enough dialogue. We're saying like, we know there's a traitor, like even like the first attempt at Paul's life, right? That was all a setup.
Yeah.
We don't get that in the movie. So in like the second chapter of the book, we get to the Baron talking about his plan to take out the Duke and how they were going to use the Doctor. And they even mentioned that we're going to attempt the son's life, and then we're going to, and then their Mentat, what's his name? Thufir Hawat, right? He's going to deduce that it's Jessica. Jessica is the reason who's trying to do all this, because it can't be the Doctor, because the Doctor under book reasons, he technically can't hurt whoever he's with. There's like some sort of thing that the doctors go through. And so they're like, all right, we're gonna knock him out. So they're planting this seed of like there's something going to happen with the House of Betrayal for then the doctor to come out and be the one to do it, because they're not even thinking about him. And the House of Atreides already is assuming some crap is going to happen, but they just didn't see that side of it. So they put up the fact that they know that they're probably being set up. They know that they're becoming the new house that everyone is falling in. That's very popular. That the Emperor doesn't want to be as popular, and so they send them over to Dune to essentially get decimated so that the Emperor can stay in power, and gave the Harkonnens what they needed and all the other stuff. So they go into it kind of knowing that something was about. But there really wasn't anything they can do about it.
Right. They didn't anticipate that angle.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why it hurt with his betrayal. Is like you wanted, and it's like they touched up on that too, that the House Harkonnen, it showed their greed when they mentioned that the families, the houses that were cultivating the spice and all that they were making a bigger fortune than the Emperor himself. So think about like the House Atreides, which is probably the most loved house in the universe. The Emperor didn't want, so it was a whole setup, and he knew that this was some type of setup, and kept pointing out like, look, see, they left us broken machines. Look, so he knew again that there was, and he was even preparing Paul, like, you want to come to these council meetings. You don't want to go out there yet. We want to come to these council meetings to prepare, because there's a big political stage, which again, it has that political thriller in there too, and we've yet to see the Emperor. But I wanted to touch up on this because I know we can't talk too much about Zendaya's character, even though again we're gonna probably get more of her character in the second movie than we did in the first.
They did it purposely.
No, I would think it was done purposely because again, it was fleshing out Paul's story. But we're gonna probably see her more because again, there was a lot of characters. Even though again, she did, I think she still did deliver a stellar performance in this, and we're gonna see more of her. But I know that this was something that we've seen a lot of stuff have trouble with, where it's like always the damsel in distress. Lady Jessica Atreides was not a lady in distress. She was not. She was just straight badass. Actually, she was the one you wanted to fear when they were taking her and Paul to go drop him off in the desert. Like they made sure they had her mouth shut. I mean, Rodney, how did you feel about Lady Jessica Atreides?
She was Carol from The Walking Dead.
Yes.
Her outward appearance was that of a church mouse. She appeared meek and quiet, but internally she was plotting and setting up things and trying to teach Paul. It seemed to me like as quickly as possible, but as good as she possibly could, trying to get him to focus, because she could anticipate it all coming too. So yeah, she reminded me of Carol from The Walking Dead. Outward appearance of very meek and very submissive and vulnerable, but she was anything but that. And I thought it was pretty cool, pretty stealthy.
Yeah.
Tony.
Oh man, that was spot on. Like she really plays the part, and like you kind of get what the whole to do is with the Ben Gesserit, and like they are a force to be reckoned with, and like how they're like 1/3 of like the political system in the Dune universe, right? Which is why even the Baron was like, when he was talking to the older mother, like the
Reverend
mother, right? He was telling her, yeah, we'll keep her alive and we'll keep the boy alive because he's been learning the ways. And alive as in I won't kill them. They may die, but I will not kill them because I'm not going to be held accountable for their deaths. Right. Like he's doing everything to make sure that if they do die, it's not on him because of the power that the Ben Gesserit hold in the political sway. Like they do all of this stuff in the background to get to Paul.
Yeah. Plausible deniability.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. And like you really see it. Like you see her, you don't really see her playing the political game in the movie where you do in the books, because there's a dinner scene in the books. You get a bunch of big players in Dune kind of come in, and she kind of helps out, and she's talking and she's realizing all the shit that's going on. We don't really see that here. We really see her as just like the mother and the companion of of Leto until that last quarter of the movie, that third act, when she kind of takes over and does all this stuff in the ship, right?
In the book, do they give a reason why he never married her? Like,
they do. The reason why he never married her is because it is to give the illusion that a treaty between a house and Atreides can happen by marriage.
Oh,
that is why.
Wow.
He wouldn't do it, but the whole point is that it's there. But he was faithful to her.
Wow.
Dun, dun,
Well
dun, dun.
done. Well done.
So we're coming to a close with this, but Lo, I want to get your thoughts on giant sandworms. What would you do if you saw them fuckers traveling through the Bronx after you?
First of all, why are they in the Bronx? Let's just put
it's the Bronx.
that out
It's
there.
the Bronx.
But yeah, one is touch on Lady Jessica only because of what they said. That last fight that they had, where they were like, "Oh, yeah, she's a force to be reckoned with," because like not only she has the voice and everything, but she had hands for days. So putting it out there, that was probably one of the best. Like, felt very like when you see the Dora Milaje for the first time, you're just like, "Oh shit!" It was that. It was kind of like that. But to go back to the sandworms, I think it was dope. I kind of want to see more of it because I feel like they held back a little bit on them to like make us fearful or make the characters fearful of it, and kind of make it imposing. But they were like, "Yo, sandworms reach like what was it, 400 meters or some craziness like that," and I was like, "We're only seeing bare minimum of that thing." So like, let's go. If they're gonna go ham, let's go ham. If I see one, I know how to step, like, like top slide,
the
tap
walk?
slide, the Furman walk. Tap slide.
You're gonna start sea walking, man. What are you doing,
bro? Like
the parallel moonwalk.
Yo, listen, no rhythms, no nothing.
How when they show that at the end, and Paul was like desert power, when they show one of the Furman riding one of the sandworms, how did you guys feel about that?
That shit was dope.
We're gonna see Paul riding one in movie 2.
I hope so. I want to see more of it because I feel like it was like cool. Like we get it. Like they kind of lead it into it to give you enough of a like, oh shit, they're not to be messed with. But I feel like they're holding back a little bit because eventually they're going to be something where everyone's like, oh shit,
yeah.
Like they're like, oh yeah, we have these shields up so like the sandworms don't break through. I want to see a sandworm just wreck house on a city. Like just give me that.
Did you guys feel I'll let you all answer just like yes or no, or just give your idea about it. So when that first sandworm popped up, not the first one, when that one popped up out of the ground and was looking at Paul, and all you hear is huh, huh. Did you think he was laughing at Paul? Because I know it was mimicking the thumper that it heard, but it was like and it was like Jess was looking at it too. She's like, was he laughing at him? It's like, no, he is the thumper. What do you?
I don't know if it was laughing. I thought it was some level of communication though. Like it looked like it was like, does he recognize like something? Like I thought there was more to it, and maybe there's not. But like, it was very something like, wait a damn minute. Like what was that?
It was definitely mimicking the thumper, and when you got eaten by one, I wouldn't want to be eaten. No death by sandworm, death by snooshoo maybe, but death by sandworm, no. Digestive system bad. But Rodney, you are now on the plug, brother. We're gonna let you plug away because Rodney Fyke is with us, guys. He has come to grace us with the goodness of what is called Road Kill Rampage. You have to pick up this book. You need to add this book to your collection. You need to go to the link in the description to support the Kickstarter so you can get a copy of this book. If you love Grindhouse, if you love horror, if you just want some awesome comics in your collection, please, Rodney, take it away. Give us about Road Kill Rampage.
Let's see, Road Kill Rampage issue 2. We're picking up with Tess. She is alone in the forest now at nighttime. She's by herself. So she's trying to find her way back home. And as she's doing that, she stumbles across an injured dog. She takes the injured dog to try to get it some help. And in doing so, she stumbles across an old veterinarian's house, and she has a conversation with the vet. The vet tells her that the animals in the area have been doing some weird and strange things. And her being a young girl in a horror story does whatever a young girl in a horror story does. She goes back to the scene of the crime try to investigate. She goes down, she goes back to the old farmhouse, and when she gets there, she kicks a proverbial hornet's nest. And when in doing so, it is revealed to her very quickly that evil comes in many forms in this forest. So we have to read on to see if she triumphs and is able to escape the evil that is pursuing her, or if she is abducted by it and dragged off into the deep, dark, scary forest. So go to Kickstarter, get issue 2 of Road Kill Rampage, and all the other goodies that come with it: stickers, trading cards, an enamel pin, mini prints, all kind of variant covers, a sketch cover. You can get a commission from me or Sean Langley, the artist. All kind of goodies. So
also,
please go check it out.
Where can we find you? We have the links in the description, but where can we find you? What are you doing? What are you up to?
Let's see. You guys can find me on Instagram at Rodney_Fyke. That's FYKE. You can find me on Facebook at Rodney Fyke Art. On Twitch at Rodney Fyke at Twitch. I do, with Sean Forney and myself, we do a Thursday night throwdown and a Friday night draw, 8 o'clock Eastern, where on Thursday nights, it's all of my social platforms, and we get on and we draw. I usually work on commissions or artwork for sale, and we talk all things nerdy from 8 to about 9:30. And then on Friday nights, we do the Friday night draw on all of Sean Forney's social networks. And so we do that every week. And then, if that's not enough, I usually stream at 11 a.m. for about a half hour. I kind of do a warm-up sketch or something, or working on a commission or something. I haven't been doing it lately because we've been busy with everything else, but I'm going to try to get back on track next week at 11 a.m. So check that out.
Nice.
Definitely. Rodney, it's always awesome having you on the show. Thank you for coming on again and sharing this with us, brother.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
Definitely, brother. And you're always, doors always welcome. Guys, we always love having Rodney on. And please check him on Thursday night SmackDown. That's right. Doing his drawing, just laying it out, man. I've seen some of the episodes, and he's done some great work during Ambient Con too. And if you see him at a show, definitely stop by, talk to Rodney and Tina. Get to talk to him, get to know him. Commission him, because you will get a dope piece of art in your collection. And please go and subscribe to it. Go and support that Kickstarter. If you haven't supported it, you know what? Just don't end up as Road Kill. Come on. Just Road Kill Rampage. Come on. And watch, dude. This has been another episode of Nerds and Rounds, guys. It's your host, Sebastian.
It's your boy, Law.
And your boy, Tone, from across the hall. Pick up a book, guys.
Yes.
Reading is fundamental.
Says this guy.